Hello. I've recently been reminded of the fact that people don't really appreciate things as like they used to, like they did before. And what I mean by that is, if you go into a store and buy something, like you have a problem that needs solving and there's a product to solve it, you buy the thing, it solves your problem and you're happy, but it really makes a difference how good quality that product is, because if it's a bad quality product, it's not going to last as long and it's not going to solve your problem anymore like it used to. But maybe people have always been short-sighted in this regard, but the product makers put effort into the products that they design, that they put their passion into the things that they built and they sold. A lot of factors that go into this here. But what I'm seeing is as a result of, capitalistic forces in the world, things are becoming crap and nobody seems to care. Like, it seems to be only old people that care about having nice things, being surrounded by nice things. And a long time ago, I read the book How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I'm sure you know the book. And I'm recalling one context in specific, one story he was telling. He was in some woman's office, or was it a man? I can't remember. And he commented on how nice their furniture was. And this person, who was usually grumpy and stuff, sort of softened up a little bit around the person who commented, because they were able to appreciate the nice things. And so they had that in common. They could both appreciate the nice, wood that the furniture in that room was made up of. So that's one way to make friends and influence people, I guess. But that sort of stuck with me because it sort of highlighted the rarity in which appreciation of nice things exists. You can't just pick some random person off the street and expect them to care about what they surround themselves with. And I do think it's very important to surround yourself with good quality things. Because think about what that does to your psychology, right? If your psychology is shaped by your surroundings, which it is, surrounding yourself with bad quality things is obviously going to shape your psychology in a way that's unfavorable. That favors impermanence and quick fixes rather than sustainability and good quality. So people often comment about my behavior and say I'm very particular about my things. And yes, I'm very particular about my things, but I'm not just particular, I'm also consistent. A lot of people aren't really consistent with how they apply the rules of their life, and I'm not saying that I'm very good at it either, because, what do I know? But I will say that the way I look at clothing is the same way I look at computer software, and it's the same way I look at my relationships with my friends and my family. If you're not striving towards something that is good quality, if you can't look into the future and see yourself having this for many years to come, what's even the point? I guess it's not a common, but like a somewhat reoccurring theme on my channel, talking about the permanence of things. And in my YouTube feed, I've been getting recommended a lot videos of buy it for life items. This can opener is made in the US and it's it'll last you forever and it's good quality and it actually works compared to the manufactured can openers that you get from other brands, let's say other countries. And there is something that I really appreciate about those kinds of videos and those kinds of items that are featured in these videos. You know, when I go out in public, I see what people are wearing. I see what people have. I see their belongings. And it's all crap. They're all walking around with polyester clothing, cheap spandex cotton for their jeans, and it has me wondering, like, why? Why would you do this? Maybe it costed you a lot of money, that's great. And maybe you're complaining to me, well, Will, we don't have all this money. How can we spend all this money on good quality stuff? We're barely breaking even. And to that, I'd ask you, why are you spending all your money on crap stuff when you could spend less money on good quality stuff if you buy it secondhand? A lot of people are turned off by secondhand, and I understand why. It sort of puts a gross image in your head of, oh, somebody was wearing this before I was wearing it. And, like, shut up. Shut up, who cares? Literally, who cares? You could wash it. It's not like you can't wash clothing. What matters is the quality. You know, what's the thread count? What's the spacing of the stitching, you know? When was it made? How was it made? Where was it made? Those things. And that attention to detail requires energy, you know? And maybe it's the case that people just don't have energy. They're like me. They're in a job. They get home, they're like, man, I don't have energy to do anything. So I'm just gonna buy new polyester clothing, new acrylic clothing, and just live with it. Because I don't want to put in the energy to think about what I'm wearing. Or put in the energy to go to a place that sells good quality clothing. I understand that. I do see your point there. By you, I mean me in another section of my brain or something. Sorry if my Cheez-Its munching and crunching is somewhat distracting to the overall message of this video. But I haven't been thinking about it a lot recently. Because my job, like I said, people, they're probably in the same position as me. They're too tired to do anything but do their job, get home, vegetate for a few hours before going to bed, and do it again. And that's sad. But to pull from a book that I haven't read called Atomic Habits, you can think about these things. You can, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? You can be cerebral about these issues that plague our lives, like the quality of our clothing. But doing so requires energy, like I said. But if this is baked into your person, it won't cost energy necessarily to think about them. Because if you already have that mechanism in your brain that says, oh, I'm looking for good quality things, I want things to last, I want good relationships, I want good quality clothing, excuse me, then it doesn't take any extra energy to seek out these things. You've already programmed yourself in order to do those things. I'm reading a book right now called The New Psycho-Cybernetics. I don't know who it's by, but it's one of the original self-help books. And this person in this book, the author, he's saying that you have some sort of like missile guidance system in your brain. It's like a servo mechanism, whatever that means. He also says that mind control or like telepathy is real. That's total bogus. But what I'm getting at here is that I do think there's some truth to that servo mechanism, that guidance system. And once you have a target, once your target is established, your brain goes into a mode where it's like not having to put in any extra effort compared to just thinking normally, because that's what your brain will be doing. It'll be thinking normally, but in this quality seeking mode. Your brain always has some sort of target. It always has a goal, if not many goals. And so adding to that list of goals, it takes energy to get into that state, but once you have that target in mind, and it's already programmed in there, then it becomes easy to seek out these things. And I feel like a lot of people, they find themselves in positions where their life is falling apart. You know, they got a crappy job, they got crappy clothes, they got crappy friendships, and in this sort of context, the way you make your bed is the same way, you know, you fry your eggs, the same way you greet people. If you're oriented toward quality, I don't want to say it's manifestation, because I don't really believe in manifestation on a what's the word? In an astrological sense, in a spiritual sense. It's definitely the case that if you have your mind on something, if you're thinking about it more, things related to that are going to be picked up by your subconscious or even your conscious mind, and it'll be incorporated into your life, because you'll want more. You'll want to see more of it. You know, if you see it, you'll be like, hey, I want to keep that in my life. So you accumulate these things that are related to the things that are related to your goals. What am I saying? Am I making sense? I don't know if I'm making sense. So in that pursuit of quality, you have to first get over that initial hump of effort, energy, expenditure. And you get into the zone where you're like, that's now a part of me, that's incorporated into my being, and I'm able to use that. And without even thinking about it, your life sort of gets better, I want to say. Reading that book, the Dale Carnegie book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, I noticed a similar sort of thing. It's not manifestation, but if you read a book like that, full of stories about people helping other people being kind and actually appreciating the presence of other human beings, you find yourself more in the mindset, by default, of having that appreciation for other people, wanting to make connections in that way. So without even trying, I was reading the book, and without even trying, I would be making better connections with people that I didn't even know, strangers that I met at my job, customers. It's sort of a weird effect, so it's very similar to manifestation, but I don't believe in manifestation. It's already 13 minutes almost. Wow. So, like, what am I suggesting here? There's a little thing on the camera. What am I suggesting here? I don't know. For me, I think that watching a lot of videos about reusable items and buy it for life items, good quality stuff, that sort of imprints in my brain the idea that those things should be sought after, that those are the things that actually have value. It's not the brand name, it's not like, I'm just saying stuff that you probably already know and agree with. Not the brand name, it's the actual makeup, it's the constituents that make the whole, that give the thing value. Van Neistat quoted somebody, and that somebody said, reliability over everything. This was in his video about typewriter versus computer. Why he prefers typing on a typewriter as opposed to a computer. So reliability over everything, and I've sort of tried to take that into account with most of the decisions that I make with regard to purchasing or acquiring various things. You can get an automatic car, and I'm sure it'll be easier to drive. You just put your foot on the pedal and it goes. But to own a manual vehicle, you're sort of signing up for a little bit of hardship for the price of a vehicle that you can really replace more parts of. If you need, you can, take out the clutch, the transmission, and disassemble it and replace the clutch discs. I don't know if I'm making sense. It's a simpler system. I don't know what I'm talking about, but it's a simpler system. Anyway, that's about all I have for this video. Yeah. Okay, goodbye.